Hi there, folks. Simon here. This is the 2022 TAC Championship Tournament. And this is the semifinals, a game between Abyss and alion02. They've already played their four-game match, all four games, and they split all four games as black. And so they each won as black twice. And so now we have a tiebreaker game. And this tiebreaker game had them do some fancy stuff with bidding for komi and then people getting something. I don't know. I still don't fully understand how the whole bidding thing works and how the whole tiebreaker system works. However, what we do know is the end result. And the end result is that alion02 gets black, Abyss gets white, and there's two komi. So it's essentially one of the normal games, just like we've seen before, except there's just one of them. It's not a pair. It's one game. However, if they do have a draw in this game, they will play another game. I'm not sure quite how that works out, but they will play another game if they draw. But I don't think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see a winner, and whoever does win this game will move on to the finals to play Ali. So that is pretty exciting. I am pumped, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. So we're gonna see a good game. I think. I think this is gonna be pretty epic. We're gonna see some great play from these two players. We've seen some amazing games between them so far. So I don't think we're gonna see anything different. This is just like all of those games played on a 6x6 board with 15 minutes on the clock, a 15-second increment, meaning 15 seconds gets added to their time after every turn they take, and two komi, because that's just how it worked out with the whole bidding situation and everything. It worked out just like the rest of these. So we're seeing, and Kieran actually rooting on alion02. That's interesting. It's interesting to see people rooting on for both either player, really. So that's fun. All right, and the first moves have dropped. We're seeing the hug opening from alion02 and playing very quickly. They're playing like lightning right now. And I think the reason we're all very familiar with the reason why, and that's because they play so slow initially that they need to get these first two or three moves out immediately so they're not wasting any time whatsoever. Because as we're already seeing, alion02 has taken quite a bit of time here to think about what move to place. He's probably thinking between a capstone placement at c5 here or a flat at c5. I like a capstone here, kind of. The reason why I say kind of is if you drop a capstone here, white may drop a capstone here at c4, and that kind of separates your black cap from this whole half of the board, and that would be potentially dangerous to have that blocked off like that. And a flat can be placed here, but then maybe white drops their capstone here at c4 anyway, because that's a solid spot for a capstone. It's exactly what they do. And then black's capstone drops, ready to cut white off from this half of the board. So I think white has decided, oh hey, I'm totally fine with this. I'll place off to the side here and cut you off from this half of the board. And I believe we are now joined by ManaT in the commentary box.
Hey, can you hear me? Want to make sure my audio is good.
Certainly can hear you, ManaT. Thanks for joining. All right,
All
we're
right,
seeing
what's going
white.
on in the game?
So white is building off to the left-hand side, trying to cut off black from where all the action is because of that capstone, being able to block black's capstone off from that left half of the board.
Interesting.
Now it looks like white is potentially going for some horizontal action as well, playing over there at d3. Black
Yeah,
is.
I'm not really sure what D3 is aiming for.
I mean, it does a couple things. One of the things I see is that D3 is a position that black wants to get to so they can go for a vertical. But
Mhm.
also, white playing at D3 makes it so they can bring their cap down to go for a horizontal. So like they can build that horizontal threat, not particularly strong for sure, but it's building towards it, and it's also working at cutting off black's vertical. So I
Yeah,
think yeah.
it's definitely a strong placement because it's in the center and it's getting in black's path. Um, I'm not I'm not seeing it being very uh, it's definitely a defensive move. It's like an all-around move, right? It's defensive and it's in the center, so it can only be so bad. But I don't see D3 furthering a specific plan of whites.
Hmm.
At least not yet. We'll
Yeah.
see.
I mean, the horizontal is there, but it's not super strong because you got black's capstone there ready to cut it off, and also that the C5 and the A6 up there. Um,
Exactly.
but it's still something, and I think that having a little bit of offense in your defensive move is a whole lot better than nothing.
Oh, I don't think it's a bad move. I mean, I don't think D3 was a bad move.
I'm trying to think of what move would be better than D3 to be honest, because I feel like that one's probably the ideal move.
Uh, so the other, yeah, C2, as one of the guests is saying, C2 or E5 would have been my candidates. Possibly E4, but D3's not a bad move. And there comes C2. See, C2 makes sense. Um, it builds off of D3. See, D3 can attack left,
For sure.
and now you've got the beginnings of a vertical threat. It can also come top. It can also go toward C3 if that horizontal road gets built out more. And again, it's just getting into black's path.
Overall, I'd say I really like White's position here a whole lot more than Black's. And as the guest said in the Playtech chat, White really did come out swinging, which I think that Abyss realized he needs to do here. Both players won as Black in all four of their games. There were no White wins, so if
Mm.
Abyss wants to move on to the finals here, he needs to break that trend and win here as White.
So it's interesting though because did white come out swinging, or did is this just something you see whenever the you use the hug opening as black?
So I think it
Because
was
you
a
got to
little
remember
bit
eight
different.
was the hug.
The play with White, so White playing off at D5 here in on move 3 um, really threw Black a little bit. He didn't know what to do. He was considering playing the capstone at C5, I'm guessing at least, or a flat at C5. He didn't really know what to do. He knew that if he played the capstone at C5, White would likely capstone at C4, and then that would be bad for Black's capstone. But then if he flatted, then White was gonna capstone at C4 anyway, and further on that threat. So I think that it was a very very deliberate move and one that Abyss made, knowing that Alion is a huge proponent of the hug opening, and studied that, figure out how to go against it. He may have even used Willembot to study the hug opening, as alion02 has done himself in the past.
Maybe I'm looking through the history and the thing that stands out to me is that CD4 move on 4 for black,
Oh,
and it just feels a bit anemic. Up, I guess I should catch up to
sorry, I just saw
nice.
White make a capstone down move C4 minus, which was uh, a zero flat move, and then
Yeah.
it was all to capture on top of that D3 stack. But now Black's building up something scary up at the top here.
Wow, that C4 down move is
Honestly,
really
I don't
a
hate it. I mean, he's got a +3 move now with that capstone.
I would just say that it's really speculative.
Yeah.
And it has to pay dividends to make that move.
Hmm. And Will is saying, why not just a wall? I'm with you on that, but Black's capstone is right there. If you walled and captured over, Black would just smash it with the capstone. And then if you wanted to block that off, you'd have to either wall again at d4 or move your capstone right onto d4 into nothing. And so I think that that capstone down move isn't that bad. Not like when you think about it, but it's just, it feels wrong initially because it's that zero flat move.
It's comparable to a wall play, except that you're not using up your reserves.
Yeah. I still like White's position here more than Black's, but it's a lot closer than it was a moment ago.
Yeah. I agree. This suddenly went from a position where it felt like white was coordinated and black wasn't to a position where white is now going to be hard pressed to interact with the fifth and sixth row.
Hmm. Now, interestingly, um, alion02 was hoping to get Black in this game with the komi and whatnot because of how how those games have turned out. Um, so it is interesting to see that alion02 did get his wish with the whole tiebreaker bidding situation that I still don't fully understand. But but yeah, Abyss I believe was kind of hoping for it as well, maybe.
Well, Abyss bid pretty high.
Yeah, he bid all the way to 2.5, so I think that he wanted White. At least, or he didn't understand how the bidding thing works, which we saw happen in his match against Pluto in the tiebreaker. Neither of them understood how that worked either, and so who knows?
Well, knowing the two players, I think Abyss would prefer white and Alien would prefer black. So
That is
it
interesting.
does in some sense, perhaps the outcome was inevitable, but the fact that we landed on two Komi exactly is somewhat surprising to me.
Yeah, alion02 bidding 1.5 and Abyss bidding 2.5. And I believe if there's a split, you take the lowest one bid and then add zero point 0.5 to it. And so since it was 1.5 was the lowest, it gets added to 2. And then alion02 was the one who bid that low one, so he takes the black. That's how I think it worked.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay, the threat is made. Now are we going to see a d5 left to make the threat?
E5 left makes a threat, defends the attack threat, isolates the black capstone.
It does a lot of good things there. I'm trying to think of a move that is as good as d5 left.
I'm not sure there is one. It basically forces the capture on C6, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, I think so. Probably with d6, because if you do it with b6, then white just plays again at b6 to renew. This that feels like the only real line here. So I'd be really surprised if white sees something else besides a d5 left. But Abyss is known for spotting some really tricky things. Just
I
like
mean, the only thing,
Ali is able to spot stuff like that like crazy. And so it would
yeah,
be interesting to see if they've figured something out we haven't.
The only other candidate moves are d5 up or c6 left. Uh,
Yeah, but d6 left is the only one that makes, or d5 left is the only one that makes the threat as well.
c6 left makes the threat, and then you could just put a wall there afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like the c6 left very much
Why not?
because of the recapture with a6.
And then you wall. I mean, I guess it could spread down, but
Yeah,
then
spreading down loses you a
black
lot
has a lot
of flat count.
spreading down. So that's the thing. It does a lot for black's flat count, but it's temporary because those stacks are attackable. And so you now have 3 of your own flats that you could put a wall on top of and spread out later. The only downside to that is that there's nothing to spread over yet. So if black just avoids playing that they could reasonably keep that flat count advantage for a long time, but it's early enough that I might do it.
Oh, what do you know? It's not like you were in the
Oh,
semifinals. Oh wait,
Abyss appears to agree with me.
he agrees with you.
Well, I
It
didn't
looks
say
like
this is the
being in
move
the
I would
semifinals of this
do.
tournament means that you do c6 left here.
It's not necessarily the move I would have made. It was just a candidate move that I was considering. And I was only talking about it because you were asking if there were any other moves besides d5 left.
I do like d5 left better still, but um, Abyss has a plan, I think. So at least I assume he has a plan.
It's not. It's very far from a road. We're there's too much play there, especially with that wall on b2, which is now looking so good.
Yep, and the wall drops. I mean, white can fill at c4 to continue that.
Um, I think you'd want to fill in b2 first.
Why would you want to fill in b2 as white?
Um, so you would fill in b2. You're working around the road, around the wall. If they fill in at c4, you've got the smash threat you can make. You don't want to pre-smash because you don't. It's not a smash where you're making a threat at the same time. So black gets the initiative and then starts to be able to build their road faster, and you have to react. But by building it b2, um, you're just building up infrastructure. It's not imminent, but if you just play c4, that invites the black capstone to come left, and
That
now
is
your road is
true.
just completely dead.
But if you play b2, then there's a chance that wall comes up.
True, but then your b2 is just helping you make a
Horizontal at the
horizontal.
bottom. Yeah, I see
Yeah,
that. B2 actually looks really good now that you mentioned all that. You got the potential for the horizontal at the bottom. You got the working for the smash threat or the c4 threat afterwards. Like, yeah, b2 seems like the right move. See, this is why you need to do more commentary. Look who agrees with you yet again.
I don't like it. I don't like it when Abyss thinks I'm right.
Considering how many things Abyss and I disagree on in the in the Discord channel historically,
Oh,
that
the same. Yeah, when we agree, he points it out. He's like, "This is a rare moment."
it is, yes. I mean, if that's the case, then I think just Abyss likes to be contrary if it's for both of us at the same time, you know. So
What happens if both people like to be contrarian?
Oh, okay, that good point. Good
Does it
point.
cancel out and then they actually have to agree with each other? Is it two negatives?
We'll leave that philosophical discussion for another time.
Right. So what does black do here?
I mean, it's not
Hmm.
currently a threat. You might want to move the wall up, but if you move the wall up, then you're inviting an A2 placement. Um, you could play up at C6 and then double down on that area, and then really try to win that B6 stack. Because if you play at C6, you win the capture war there. Then be able to spread down and then protect those stacks with both the wall and the capstone. So white walling at C6 wouldn't do anything to stop that, for example.
Yeah. Now that B2 plus has happened,
Now, does
well, I was
white
gonna
play
say
at A2?
now that B2 plus had happened that I liked the fighting the war and spreading down because the wall can help defend both the
Mm-hmm.
B4 and B5 stacks. Um, Now that 2B3 plus has been played, which which has to be trying to capture B6 with the wall.
I think so, yeah. I think we're going to see like a C6 placement from black and then the throw. But if we
Right.
see that, then white has momentum still for building the road at the bottom. If white plays
Right.
A2.
Yeah. So A2 or E3 are candidates here. Possibly possibly E2, which is somewhat central. It still works toward that horizontal throw. It just does it through D2 instead. Um, hmm. It depends on if white's. I think your decision here is: do you want to push your own threat or do you want to play something defensively?
Yeah.
You could pre-move C6. It's probably C5 just comes up if you do that. But I guess that's fine.
We are seeing both players take quite a bit of time,
Yeah, I
as they are
honestly I
known
don't know what
to.
I would have played there. A2 is definitely a consideration. It was what I was leaning toward because I feel
Hmm.
like you had a turn to delay and make your decision the turn after, but now you don't. Now you have to make a decision.
Yeah. Now that I feel like A2 is what I would have gone for. Um, I don't know if that means that that's good. That probably means the opposite. But now from here, I would probably play E3 and just continue on for my horizontal threat. Your stopper there is either a wall at F3 or D2 left. And if it's D2 left, then you play again at B3. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not worried. Playing B3 seems fine because if the wall stack comes down, I mean, I guess it's still attacking the B6
Yeah,
road. It's just starting to feel
less good.
very bad for black to do that move unless they think they've got a Tinue.
Yeah, because white would be able to smash, and that would be bad.
Yeah. Abyss wants to push it. He wants to see, okay, I'm
Good.
attacking. What are you gonna do? This is nice for white because they're in a position where they don't necessarily have to make a decision about how they're going to defend until black has shown that they can defend the bottom ranks as well.
Correct. Though it is important to note that black is up by I think one flat right now, but at the end of this turn, if black makes it by placing a flat, then up by um, two flats.
Which makes sense because white has spent one turn to move their capstone,
Yes.
and black spent one turn to place a wall. And we have not yet seen any true uh, moves that change the flat count differential other than those two. No spreads yet.
And if you're wondering about what we mean by +1, +2, flat count differential, all that stuff, check out the FCD or flat count differential video of TAC University. Home to all of your basic tax strategy needs. It's not a Simon video without a TAC University plug.
No, it really isn't.
I believe in the commentary that you did in one of the matches where I wasn't there because I was sick, you even plugged TAC University, and I wasn't even there.
I think that's why I did it.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah. So Black's got to be eyeing f3, but Alion's taking a long time on this decision, so I wonder what he's thinking about.
He's probably thinking, man, I have not used up enough of my time already.
Yeah.
Oh,
I guess he was just thinking if it was worth a wall.
yeah, I guess so. Now, does
You only
White
had
play E2 or F2? Goes for the
They
E2.
play E2. Clearly, they're going to play E2.
Clearly. And from there, if we see F3 left, I can see like an F2 placement.
Hmm.
If he plays something, oh, that was an unexpected move. Now, that cuts off the threat, but it also eliminates that +3 move that White had available to him. Now it's
Yeah,
just a
that's an
+2
interesting
move.
point. That's an interesting point, and it's I think it's easy for beginners to overlook the when someone has a stack that they can spread, moving the thing that they can spread over can actually be quite a powerful move. Or
For sure.
just, not playing there, obviously. But this is a mistake I see a lot in beginner games, is when they will place next to a stack that's about to spread when they
Yeah,
could have
and
had
it's like,
something, when they could have done something else.
yeah, it's like, oh, that piece is now gone, and you just basically gave them a better move.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think White was expecting that move at all. And so this turn, I think we're going to see a little bit more time taken. And I think that's why alion02 took a little more time on that turn, because he was thinking up that move. This is where we might see White shift gears to start addressing what's going on up at the top of the board.
Yeah. So there's no rush to play a capture onto E2, and it's not a threat if you do so.
I think a wall at
And
E5
then
makes a
black.
lot of sense here.
Oh, you want a wall, huh?
Yeah, I'm thinking wall E5, because my whole play at the bottom here has been dismantled. And so I can't make a threat on the next turn. So on the next turn, he can throw his wall up to B6 and make that threat. And so if he makes that threat, I want to be able to shut down that road right away. And there are two ways to do that, and it's with a wall coming up onto E6 that you place at E5, or using that D5 flat to come up, but that doesn't seem particularly strong to me, and so I would want to make it a lot stronger.
I'm thinking about D5 plus. It runs away from the capstone, isolates the capstone. They could capture with C6 or E6, but then you put a wall down.
I think that the response would be to fill in at D5, personally.
And if they fill in at D5, they're 2 turns away from a road, so now you have the initiative again. You
Hmm.
might be able to do something with it. I'm just wondering if there's anything that you can actually do with it in that time. Maybe F2 and then E3 down becomes a really hard to deal with threat.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I don't think D5 works in totality, but it just buys the tempo.
Hmm. And sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah. Well, and it has an edge. It has um there's a double-edged sword there. So you just have to ask yourself if you're willing to escalate the stakes by doing that.
And Karen thinks he sees Tinue for black. I
Really?
don't I don't think that's there, but I would be blown away if there was
With
something there
white
for
with
Tinue.
white to have Tinue for black with white to move?
Yeah.
That it can't be true. If this was black's turn, maybe?
Yeah. I think I think dropping a wall at e5 stops it for sure. Yeah, wall e5 f5 and Karen is saying would stop it. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't know if there is one even with the d5 plus move. But Abyss has taken a ton of time. He's now at like 2.5 minutes on the clock. He has spent 4 minutes thinking about this move.
I I would consider myself in time trouble.
I would also, and he
I
made the
don't
move.
know
So we're gonna
if
see
I
the
agree
d5
with that.
plus, and so he's gonna try and make that e3 minus move after black does something here. I think you were right about that. A white's trying to set up a Tinue, which is very unlike Abyss.
So as soon as he made the F2 play, he committed himself to D5 plus.
Yes, because he knew it was
Um,
happening. He spent 4 minutes on that move. He knew what was going to happen next, and he knows what he's going to do after black makes this move, probably. Unless it's something that he hadn't
yeah.
thought of, which is totally possible.
This is really interesting.
Yeah, it's it's
I'm
so
struggling. I'm
bizarre to see
struggling here.
this because both people are playing basically their own game on opposite sides of the board with very few infiltrators. And so black's got this thing up at the top, it's sort of their own deal with only a few white pieces, and white's got this thing at the bottom, their own deal with only a few black pieces, and you really don't see that ever in high level games like this. And it's a very risky, gambly sort of play and play style to sort of really focus in on what you're doing and then leave very few resources behind to deal with your opponent's threats.
I'm not sure if this is the right move, but I'm considering F3 left followed by D5, pinning the white capstone. Because at this point, black cannot make a threat.
Mm-hmm. And black probably wants to make f3 left. That does seem like the strongest move to me.
The only proactive move that's coming to mind.
Yeah. So we're
They have a
seeing people
turn.
saying you could wall b3 as black to really shut
Yeah,
down white's threat, which, yeah, it could totally work.
they do have a turn before white is making
A threat, yeah.
a threat. So they have a turn. They don't have to capture this turn. They have a turn where they can place planning to capture next turn. Um, the other somewhat interesting thought is E2 right. If E2 right, They don't have an anchor to the right side, and they don't have a way to place there. No. Yeah, okay.
That works.
That works. I think
We might still see e3 minus, but probably not, because that would just make that wall stack strong, be able to spread left. So now we're probably going to see something like a wall at e5.
um for white, no, white's probably just gonna play e1.
Yeah, e1 works. That makes sense, yeah. But it
It's
is
it's
a
what I would
really
do.
dangerous
It's a threat.
situation.
It's a threat. You don't even have to like it's either d1 right or f3 left. You're not gonna see.
hmm
I guess you could see d2 left,
I think
but
e1
either way,
makes a
you're
lot of sense here. That's probably the ideal move for offensive. Um, yeah,
absent tactical considerations. E1 uses up a reserve, forces black to capture. Um, you don't have to make your decision about how you're going to defend up top for another move. So
that's true.
I think it's fine. Um,
So it does go for the e1. Makes the threat.
I don't know if this is not this is one of those um, kind of mundane moves where it's just solid, it's good, it's hard to refute it that it's wrong, and you know that it's working toward your longer term strategic goals.
Now f3 left kind of messes this up, I think.
Well, what do you mean by messes it up?
So f3 left kind of shuts everything down, and then white's going to have to give up on that at the bottom. Other moves kind of
Hmm.
leave things open, but f3 left is the one that really shuts it down. Yeah, f3 left seems like the strongest move here.
Yeah, I'm questioning that D2, that side, wall D2 in
Yeah,
hindsight.
I feel like a wall at b3 would have been way stronger.
Yeah.
Yep, now we
Yep.
see the wall at e5. Immediate.
Abyss
Exactly.
agrees. He's like, I don't even have to think about it.
Yep. Clearly he's listening to my commentary.
Yeah.
He's
Although
not. I checked the
I
list.
don't think. Well, E6 left, and then what do? You don't. I guess you just place another wall.
Yeah.
Seems a bit ham-fisted. Um,
Also, I was clearly kidding about him listening to the commentary. If he were listening to the commentary, he would probably not do anything I suggested. uh, just out of
yeah,
spite.
people who didn't make the tournament and/or are already out of the tournament are probably not the people he's trying to steal ideas from.
Exactly.
Although I'll say this is kind of a mess for Black.
It's kind of a mess for both
E6,
players, but yeah, it does
yeah,
seem pretty not great for black.
okay,
I think that seems fine.
that seems fine. I think
Whatever
that's
you do,
acknowledging
don't do
that
e5 left.
that's acknowledging that your threats are not very strong, and just making a flat placement.
hmm
It's moving to make a different horizontal that doesn't require d6, e6, and f6. And
I kind of liked c4.
yeah, I don't know what that did for white.
See f5 I don't really like there. I liked c4 for white because then it's like you can toss the b5 stack right to make the vertical threat. That's just fun for me. It wouldn't go anywhere, but it's fun.
No, I think it's a solid move. If you play c4, I mean, you're inviting the capstone to come back into the action. Right now, Black's capstone is kind of stuck in limbo.
Yeah.
They're not really helping the row 6 threat. They're not really defending anything White's got going on.
All right. Now the threat is
Um,
made by black, so white's got to defend against this, and it's got
yep.
to be a capture. I don't like the wall moving here. Honestly, I like a6, a5 plus, capturing up on a6.
Hmm. Hmm.
The wall seems very temporary. That flat move, despite it being a flat versus a wall, is way more permanent to me. It takes a lot longer to bring it back, I think.
It looks like Abyss agreed with you. I was actually looking at 2d6 right.
Ooh, that one's
Um,
good too.
this
I
is
think
an
it would just
interesting
result in
move.
black playing at e4.
Yeah, but I'm okay with that. Or I think I would have been okay with that.
Would Now do you think white is going to start playing down below again?
So White
Now,
has a turn.
yeah.
They have a turn to place wherever they think is best. Um, we're feeling a little bit. I'm feeling a little bit hemmed in, and I'm not seeing many opportunities for White to gain flat count right now.
Hmm.
And I'm not seeing any immediate road threats either. So
I don't understand b4.
I don't either.
It makes a little more sense when you realize that Abyss is below a minute on the clock.
Maybe. Could have been a mouse slip. I think you just play f4 and move. Yeah.
Yeah, just go for the.
You don't have time to think anymore.
Yeah,
Um,
he can go for the
there's
vertical
also the
along this
sneaky
side.
throw. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
was gonna say
sneaky
there's a
throw from
sneaky throw from
d6,
d6 onto f6.
which I like. I'm all about that. But he's got to build out
Once,
f3 and f1 first.
yeah, but if you can do it in a way that feels organic, Alion's also getting low on time. Maybe they'll miss it.
Hmm. I feel
It
like the
it's kind of feels like a
b4,
gambit.
the b4 felt wrong there.
B felt B4 felt wrong. F5 felt wrong when he played it, though. I guess maybe now it's feeling a little more comfortable.
Hmm. f1 being played instead of b4 seemed way
Well, now you
better.
have no time.
Yeah, because f1 works towards both the vertical and the horizontal there, and I liked f1 there because you could kind of disguise it as just going for the horizontal again, and then keep going for that vertical at the same time. But now he's got the threat that he
This
has
feels
to
so
deal with.
dangerous. This feels so bad for White right now, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't like that move. Now he's going to fill in at e5. I think 2d6 right was the move there, just like you were suggesting earlier. Yeah, he fills in another threat. This is
Yeah.
really difficult to stop at this point. Um, that wall probably needs to come down again, just because there's not a better move for it. Unless you want to bring it to f6, which I don't feel like is very good, because then black plays at f3. Then I guess you capture up onto f.
Oh my lord, 10 seconds.
Yeah,
7,
he's.
6. Make a move.
Oh, that.
Okay, interesting.
All right.
That's an interesting move because you can throw the wall to it.
Yeah, you can
It's
throw the
still
wall to it. That's
protected.
not bad.
Yeah.
That's better than I thought it would be. Because that wall has the ability to throw over there onto c6.
On the other hand, um, it feels very losing right now.
It
Like
does,
you're not
yes.
dead, so you're not dead to the road. Congratulations. What are you gonna do about your flat count?
Yeah. He's pretty down, and he's so low on time. I mean, he had 5 seconds when he played that move. Granted, alion02 is down to 40 seconds on the clock now as well.
But do you even see a threat from white? Don't you just doesn't black just play their flats out now?
I think so. I think that's what they should do.
Like I'd probably honestly I'd probably just play a5. I mean, I'm not as high on adrenaline as these players are right now, so maybe I'm not considering something.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want white to be able to get that a6 stack.
For sure.
And now I'm not planning to throw it to c6, so
Ooh.
here we go.
Oh, he moves
Now
the
some
cap
action.
ready to throw up to b5 and smash that. I like the guts
Yeah, but it
on
was
that
a
play.
zero move. It's a gambit. This
Yeah,
is
it is. But he needs to do that because
10
he doesn't have another
seconds.
option. And alion02 is now down to 5 seconds trying to think about what to do with
My
this
Atlanta,
big
do not
stack.
flag.
Oh, goodness. All right, does he bring the capstone up onto b4? Self capture?
I guess
No,
that's
or
the
does he
plan.
does he spread up? Oh, I was thinking spread up with c3. Uh, 2c3 plus 1 would have been a vertical threat. But now he's keeping black's wall from capturing that c6 stack.
I don't think I like that vertical threat you were suggesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
a5. I like that move. I like that a lot. I think that was good.
yeah. Um, Now do you play like b1 for white and start and work on that vertical threat? No,
Well,
he's
you
gonna
have
cut it off with
to.
b5. Yeah, b5
Yeah,
makes a lot of
first
sense.
first don't die. Actually, honestly, were you about? No, there wasn't a threat there, was there?
No, there
Was
wasn't.
there a threat there? So I might have just played b3 plus. I don't think these guys have time to calculate, but b3 plus might have won that stack.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think
That
it
I
would
think
have.
that might have been White's only chance. Now it's all getting very hectic.
Yeah, I love it. Black's cap comes in. White potentially playing at b1 or bringing the capstone up to secure that position. They're both so low on time. Abyss now below 10 seconds again. Comes over with the whole stack. Okay, because he doesn't want to spread and give that black wall any more power.
Well, that's a fine move.
Black's going to be making a
Ooh, ooh,
threat here
ooh,
on the
ooh.
following turn.
No, this is a threat right now.
Oh, yeah, it is. Sorry, my bad. I didn't see f6. Yeah, threat right now. White brings that up. Black can say, okay, I'll play now at a4,
Black,
and you can't
Black can do whatever
smash.
they want. You're pinned.
Yeah. So no smashy smashy for white. But black can move their wall and activate that.
They're making so many captures. They would never be playing like this if they had time.
Oh, absolutely not. But we know these players well enough to know that they wouldn't play for this sort of game, but they both have 30 seconds on the clock or less. A4 played.
Hmm.
Yes, that is a road threat. Um, Interesting.
Eve. Hmm.
Do you bring the you do 3c5 left here.
Yeah.
3c5 left renews the road threat, blocks white's capstone
I
from the
think
big
that's
stack.
premature. I think that e4 plus was premature.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the capstone needed to go left. Now white can take that wall stack and spread it right potentially and mess things up.
Well, White has to defend.
Yeah, though the wall stack spreading right is defending.
Oh, sorry. I misunderstood what you were
Threat
saying.
renewed. Maybe b2 plus here. Trying to gain that tempo to be able to capture that b6 stack. And I don't think there's a way that black can renew this threat to keep. Okay. White drops a wall at e5, or to capture onto e5 at e4.
Yeah, that's why I didn't like that e4 plus move.
Yeah, and now we're seeing probably e5, e4 plus to cut off the horizontal. White's going to be able to smash that big stack at b6. Black probably wants to take that wall stack at b6, move it to c6.
This is this is pretty close to flat win for black. They're
Yeah, it
way
is.
ahead. White's got a +3 move. That doesn't even get them close. Yeah, I was like, this is your moment. You've got to smash.
Gotta.
There's no other way to get flat counts. I don't know if it works, but you have to do it.
Is it 14 for black?
Um,
And 5 for white?
6 for white with white
6.
to play.
Oh
So
yeah, 6. I
effectively,
didn't see the b4.
it's effectively 7-14 right now.
Ooh,
I like that.
4 b5 plus is attack threat for black. Because the capstone can come up onto
No.
b6 and now smash on d6, and that's a road. So this is threatening tack right now. White's got to be able to stop that. I think spreading.
Oh yeah, but okay. Yeah, you're right. It is attack threat. I would have just spread down. I mean,
I would
breaks
have
the
I would have
anchor.
taken the whole stack and put it 1 down onto a5 to be able to spread right afterwards.
Mm.
And I think you want to do that now. Bring the whole a6 stack down onto a5, and then you can spread to the right and get back
I
some
think d6
flats.
d6 was fine. D6 was a good play.
Mm-hmm.
It uses your flats. You've only got 5 flats left,
Yeah,
and you're
he
way
wants
up.
to get his reserves
So
out.
you just want to get point where white is can do nothing very effective for 5 turns.
Mm-hmm. And white has 2+2 moves available in a row, and then the +4 move available to them as well. That was alion02 on 1 second playing that because he's at 15.9 seconds. He was at 0.9 seconds on the
Yeah.
clock when he played that move. White spreads
I
down.
think he's thinking too hard. He just needs to play flats.
Yeah. And I think this is where d5 needs to spread left, make the +2 move or +3 move left.
Just place flats. They can't spread and make threats, and you're still winning even after those pluses. It was 5 to 13. You needed a
it's 8
+8. He only
now.
had a +2 and a +3. It's not enough. Black just needs to place flats.
Yeah, there's nothing white can do if black just continues to place flats.
Yeah.
Yeah, this seems like a Galet for black. But I mean, black can also lose on time if he's not careful.
No, I think Allian's good enough to know that it's just time to place your last flats and go.
Yeah, I think he sees it.
There's nothing coordinated white can do. No weird throws that I see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. GG. This was a good one.
It was a really
Very
good
chaotic.
game.
I can't play like these guys.
I definitely can't play with these guys in the time pressure like they can.
Yeah.
I would have missed 100 threats by now, playing at 30 seconds. I would have just panicked and lost on time instead.
Place your last flat.
Yep.
Man.
And black
GG.
wins 11-9. Man, good game. And that is it. That means that alion02 moves on to the finals of this 2022 TAC Championship. He will be playing against Ali in the finals, and the finals is a 6-game match. But we won't get into that now because right now, congratulations to alion02 for winning, and honestly, amazing play from Abyss as well in this game and in this tournament. The whole match was fantastic, and this was a great tiebreaker game for it as well. We saw some pretty crazy plays here at the end with the low time, which is just nuts. And thanks again to ManaT for joining me in the commentary booth.
Thanks. It's been great fun. Alion has beaten the lexical advantage that Abyss had, and we have two AL people going up against each other in the finals. So
that is interesting, though. This is the first time that that the person who was not alphabetically first in the matchup has won a game in this tournament, which was a very strange coincidence, but that's why we end up with two people with A in their name in the finals.
AL, yeah, really AL versus AL.
Oh man, you and your linguistic stuff. Anyway,
it's been a fun tournament.
It has been.
Congratulations to Alion. Abyss is a hard opponent to beat.
Absolutely.
This is shaping up to be a very good finals.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this. And like we were talking about right before the match, alion02 came in as a substitute in this tournament for Sime. And so he's like an alternate. And he might win the whole tournament as an alternate, which would be pretty insane. But also as someone who's only been playing the game for a little over a year. He's been playing it for a year and a few months, whereas Abyss has been around since 2016 when the game was released. So, yeah, big difference in terms of experience. But obviously, the skill level is very close. So
it's been impressive play all around.
Yeah, that is it's pretty amazing. And Ali also in the finals has also been around since about 2016. So since the beginning. And so yeah, he definitely is going to have to overcome that experience again against another player. But thanks everybody for watching. Be sure to check out the description below for all things TAC, especially the TAC Discord server, which is where you can find all sorts of TAC resources like strategy guides and people to play with, whether that be on playtac.com or asynchronously in the Discord server itself. So thanks again for watching, and until next time, have a great day and happy tacking.